The program is the Afia Morning Show on Afia DSTV channel 254, Go TV channel 17, and at Afia TV official to all those watching around the world on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Namdia Bayan. Natalie Uku is here with me, and right now we're going to talk about something that, well, because I'm a very proud person, and every time people want to talk too much to me, I just put my tax clearance on the table and say, if you're not paying tax with me, we shouldn't be talking. I have something you don't have. I'm that kind of person, I know. But recently, Governor Peter Mbah released budget like most governors in the Southeast, and there was a ₹500 billion naira, well, 521 billion to be precise, and a lot of it to come from internally generated revenue. And when we think of that, we always think of tax. So, of course, to discuss internal revenue matters, we have the Executive Chairman, Enugu State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Emmanuel Ekene Nnamani. Good to have you here this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
So let me start from this. I'm a layman, and when we hear government says we want to raise revenue from internal, we want to raise IGR, internally generated revenue, all I think is they're going to increase my pay tax. There's going to be a tax on everything. So tax aside, first, how else, what other sources of revenue, apart from taxation, does the government generate? Because that's all we think of, tax.
No, not at all. There won't be anything like increase in tax. Actually, the state doesn't have the power to increase some taxes because these taxes are actually a law of the federation. So if the taxes remain the way they are, the personal income tax is not changing, the withholding tax is not changing, so the stamp duty tax is not changing. We don't actually have the power to change. The only thing we are doing in the state is expanding the net. Because in the past, some people pay, very few pay, and others go scot-free. Nobody asks them to pay. And they believe it's their right not to pay tax. So what we are doing is to ensure that every single person that is supposed to pay tax pays. That's what we are doing. Then when you ask about other ways of making or generating money for the states, there are other ways of, apart from taxes and levies and fees, there are other ways states make money. We have not been cut off from federation account sharing. The state is still collecting their share of the federation accounts. Also, state also has massive opportunity to make some sales. So you may not know that government can make sales of some of its assets. Either these assets are moribund or the assets need to be rejected. So some state has that right. So what we are saying in the year is that we don't want to go and mortgage our future in borrowing. Let us try our hands in what we can generate internally. And every potential shows that, yes, Enugu can generate that kind of money. It's not a rocket science.
You know, I talked about when we hear IGR, we talk about tax. I was talking to some market leaders recently, and their next worry is that in a bid to expand the tax net, the government may bring so many statutory levies against people operating in the market. Already they are complaining that even after the state government insisted on the single payment for levies in markets, you know, earlier on, I know there was the, we talked about the market leaders saying there was one payment. The government, yes, but they are still complaining that there are still a lot of local governments and this and that. For those engaging in trade, particularly retailers, people with shops, people in the market, their worry is that after what seemed like some sort of reprieve, when looking at the structure of payment that had been streamlined by the state government, it seems as if a lot of the other little levies from local governments and things like that are still there. And this expansion of the net, their fear is might mean more payments from them.
It's not at all. In our market sector, we have implemented a single payment called e-ticketing. So in all our markets, what you are going to see is a single payment of 21,000 naira a year. And this payment covers those levies that we think would have caused them fear. It covers business premise, it covers ESWAMA, it covers local government storage. So, and then the income tax they're supposed to pay. So we are doing that using the model, presumptive tax model. So it's not that is the best of tax they're supposed to pay, I get it. But this is the base. This is a new thing we are doing in Enugu. And we don't want people to feel much burden about paying it. And also you have opportunity of paying it monthly, I get it. So who could not pay monthly because of their income level, they can pay daily. So we have structured it in a way that it fits into the way they live their life. It fits into the way they make their money. It fits into the way they make their expenses. So this is what we have structured in Enugu. It's one single payment in the informal sector. So whether you're in the market, whether you're on the streets, or whether you're an artisan, that it covers.
So if we're in a presumptive tax model, and this was something the New Haven Market chairman raised, you have different types of business in the market. There are people who own shops selling a lot of things. There are people who sell daily perishables and consumables. And there are those who, according to him, the entire value of what is on their table is not up to 10,000 naira. So you have all these people paying the same quote-unquote rate. Now, for things like ESWAMA, yes, I know you always have flat rates depending on possibly how much space you're taking up in the market. But to put that blanket fee on everybody, I know the informal sector is not really well recorded, but to put that blanket fee on everybody, is it not a bit uncomfortable for those who...
Let me just say you, if we should do the right assessment, some of them will pay millions of naira in accordance with the tax law. Some will pay millions of naira. And again, that we say this 21,000 naira, for inside Obete, there are people we could not accept that 21,000 naira. Even when I have paid the 21,000 naira, we still go into the business and do additional assessments because the business is more than that. If you look at the inventory they have in their shops, if you look at their turnover, you see that they are much more than paying 21,000 naira in a year. So this 21,000 we say is the base.
Okay.
You remember when we say 21,000 naira, you pay it as a tax, it covers every other thing you're supposed to pay to government, be it summer, be it business premise renewal, be it local government. This is way too low compared to where they are paying before.
You know, but I agree with you on those who are selling clothes, butchers, people like that. But I was talking of those who are doing petty trade, who probably have a few tomatoes and some okra on the table.
The question is, in an economy where data becomes a challenge, how do you measure the income? And when we structure what they pay, we looked at what they were paying to the touts before. They were paying much more than that without complaints. Have you ever had complaint from them? Have you ever been to the market to see, and anybody say you paid? The answer is no. But when we came on board, we say, in order to ensure that no tout collect from them, everybody has to pay. So everybody paying now has actually pursued tout from collecting from them. Because our people are on ground.
I would like to come in there quickly. I do have another question, but still in line with New Haven Market, yes. Right? Are you aware that on Mondays, there's actually one person, I don't know where he's from, but he stands at the gate and makes customers pay gate fee, but he doesn't issue receipts. This happens every Monday. The last time I went to the market, I was told by a young girl who was helping me move my things into the car that don't listen to this man. He's not supposed to collect this levy on Monday. So I asked him, when I was leaving, I already paid the fee. I said, can I have my receipt? And he said, no, just go. No, just go. And I kept thinking about it. And it wasn't just me. As I was putting my things in the car, I looked at the gate and another customer was driving in. And he did the same thing. And the customer was like stretching out her hand and he just said, go. So are you aware that there's actually a group of people benefiting from Monday market day and not remitting, supposedly not remitting these sums to any authority? This is something I noticed on my own at the market.
Yeah, and to add to that, that's a wider problem of managing revenue collection. Are you aware of people who might still be, despite your e-ticketing be collecting levies like this without permission? Is there a mechanism to control or check that?
Let me tell you one thing in the market. You see, the market leaders has a lot of rules that cannot be disclosed to you. No matter how much you push, you may not get it easily. I was one day in Arelaba, and it was 5:30. They say market closes by 5. By 5:30, everybody coming out of the market, you have to pay 50 naira. And they're collecting it. If you go to Onitsha, they collect the same thing. They'll just give you time, market closes.
Kenyatta does the same thing.
So it may be the same thing they're implementing in this market. Even not wait a year, there's a time they are supposed to close the market. When the market is closed, when you're coming out, if you like be the trader, if you like be the customer, you have to pay such an amount. I don't know how much they're collecting because I don't find myself being in the market that late. But it happens everywhere. So those people you see at the gate, as the market leaders, they may tell you what is happening. Our own is e-tickets, I get me, which is meant for traders in the market. And it is vended through e-alert. I get me, you get here. This e-alert is not money this time around. It's called e-ticket alert. And that is what we do. And every day in the market, you see our people from Monday to Saturday. The only exemption we have is on Sunday. So some people are still struggling, why do you collect on Saturday? The question is, why do you come to market on Saturday?
I understand the concept of the unified e-ticketing system, but the young girl that spoke to me and, tried to make me aware of what the man was doing, she spoke in a soft, intimidated voice. If this wasn't a case of suppression and intimidation, would she have spoken to me in that tone?
You need to ask questions. Sometimes some people who call you are sponsored. I get it. Some are totally sponsored, don't mind their tone. Some elderly people can call you and pretend to be a very young lady. So,
no, I wasn't called.
So some of them cannot tell you what is happening now and fail to know what was happening before now. So for those staying at the gate, if we are not aware of it, we didn't send anybody from doing that. But I know that market people do collect something.
But the problem I'm saying, first off, no one called me.
Okay.
I had gone myself to buy items, and this young girl was helping me. And my problem was that he took the gate fee from me, but did not issue a receipt. And every other day apart from Monday, a receipt is issued, at least to the best of my knowledge. So if he's not issuing a receipt, then where is the money going?
But remember, we don't do anything that has to do with receipts.
So
that thing is market.
So
market
the Internal Revenue Service has no...
We have no receipts.
Things like parking, you have nothing...
We don't have any receipts. Everything we give is E.
No, so I'm saying that the Internal Revenue Service Board, with the exception of collecting like levies, you mean that you don't collect any money from the market itself, from any of the parking fees they collect for parking and all those things? Or are those left for the market to run itself?
No, we don't collect parking fees.
You don't collect any money from the market as a body?
The parking fees, there are people who own those parks one by one. I get it. And some of them have an existing agreement with the states or either the ministry that's concerned. So it's not our duty to collect parking. Our own is collect consolidated tax for the state. I get it. Either in the transport sector or in the market sector or on the streets and artisan shops. So that's what we do. For parking lots, it's not our duty for now.
Okay, well, let's move ahead to Governor Peter Mba's plans to, finance the budget significantly through internally generated revenue. Only 12% is going to be financed through borrowing. And now residents and business owners are justifiably concerned about what this means for them. Nnamdi has already asked you the first question about, you already debunked it, that taxes will not be increased. But what should the average residents be expecting with this whole scheme of financing the budget?
Because tax, I'm not worried. I do my tax clearance regularly. And the reasons are simple. There are some of us, there's a level you get to in the profession where it is required for a lot of things. It's one of the most important validations. So we have to do it. We have no choice. But my question is this. Apart from payee or personal income tax and levies for market holders, I always worry about the expanded taxes that are almost invisible and are transferred to us. Like little taxes given to markets, maybe off-license, liquor license, or other things that are transferred to the customer. Restaurants, shops, You know, and the worry is that as these little levies are handed out, like consumption taxes and others, they are now bundled into prices and given back to the customer. So I, Namdi Obanya, after paying my personal income tax, probably had commission or something I did, got withholding tax taken to buy a bottle of beer and pay it with VAT on top of it. I park somewhere and I pay parking because I have to park there. Subsidy has removed, I'm paying a tax on my fuel. I go to the shop and everything I buy. So it's a case of multiple, not multiple now, but what I call it compound.
Yeah, and essentially, what is the guarantee
taxation
that,
of the
Let me
individual?
tell you what we are doing.
Yeah.
Apart from payee,
Yeah.
which we are collecting from people in corporate environment,
Yes.
like you are,
Yes.
we are also doing our e-tickets to cover the informal sector. That apart, we have a massive opportunity and potentials in our property tax called land use charge.
Okay.
Before now, people are not aware that when you own a property in a city, you pay land use charge. There's a law that empowers the state to collect, and few we are paying before. This time around, every single building, both in the main city and the sub-cities, have to pay land use charge.
Would this not affect the, you know, there's already the problem of skyrocketing rent. Making landlords pay land use charge, would that not now increase the problem of rent?
The rent is a matter of market demand and supply. It's a matter of demand and supply. I get it. If you ask me to go and pay rent in Independence Layout, will I go there? The answer is no. I get it. If people who pay land use charge in GRA start to increase their rate, people will begin to relocate to Emene. After all, Emene now has water. Emene has roads. I get it. So it's a matter of market demand and supply. So we are not giving up on that particular area, and there is no moral blackmail that will make us to go down on it. That is where we have massive potential in the city. So we are going to use land use charge. But the rate is not actually exorbitant as people may think.
Yeah.
Because the highest rent you can pay for a residential area is at 266,000 naira. For high-brow area like Zoo Estate, GRA, Okpara Avenue, other areas like Abapa, you can pay it at something thousand. Actually, layout is about something a year. So it's not exorbitant at all. But we want to make sure that every single property, and again, we have a GIS system the state has bought into that has been able to tell us actual number of billable property in the state. And we are going to make sure that every single property in the state is billed.
What makes a property billable and a property unbillable?
That will be a discussion on a very full-fledged day.
Because
right.
I would like to be an unbillable.
You have to pay. You must have to pay.
I would like us to, because for the sake of people actually, all right.
We also want to beam our light is on our purchase tax. Purchase tax on hotels, purchase tax on bars, purchase tax on restaurants, purchase tax on media houses. Like here, I get it. Every single advert you make, you have to pay us 10%. The customer will pay, not you paying. The customer has to pay the 10%.
But we already, the customer already have to pay VAT.
Yes, the customer is aware. They have to pay. Your own is to tell them to pay. I get me. So they have to pay 10%. If you fail to collect from customer, we'll collect from you. And when we do our enforcement, you pay.
So what happens to customers who are out of state?
What do you mean by out of state?
We're a DSTV channel. We have customers that are not in Enugu state.
It doesn't matter. They pay. You give them bill. When you are giving them bill, you add our 10%. So they can pay from London. But the 10% will come in.
All right, so, I'm just thinking of people watching now and trying to understand what this financing scheme means for them. Like I said earlier, the governor intends to finance it significantly with IGR.
Yes.
So for people watching now, business owners, residents, what is the implication of this? What does this mean for them?
Will everything get more expensive?
No, everything is not getting expensive. What we are trying to let our people know is that tax payment is part of your contribution towards the development of your state. In the past, our mindset has been killed about development trajectory. We all believe that the state can develop through donor agencies or through support from developed countries or through anything, have our mindsets wrongly mentored to understand that donor agencies can develop a state. We have tried it over years now. Have we developed? So those countries we run to, all of us, there's no single family, especially in Igbo land, that doesn't have one person outside the country. Just put a call across. Do they pay their taxes? Answer is yes. So if they pay their taxes and those states, those cities are developed, why is it that when we come to our own land, some people begin to confuse our mindsets that you can develop without people paying tax? It is not possible. It is not.
This is a conversation that we would definitely have to continue because we're out of time, but I think we'll have to specifically focus on, the impact of the economy within Enugu State, and I hope we can commit you to coming back to have that discussion.
What we are doing is that we have an Office of Bureau of Statistics. We have also asked them to monitor the tax we collect. So let's see the impact on the economy, so that if the impact becomes adverse, we can begin to tilt it a bit, or the model of which we are collecting the tax, if it becomes adverse to the society or to the economy, begin to tilt it. But for now, we have not received an adverse report or even adverse security report on the way we go about our taxes. So, but the only thing is that we'll continue to be civilized in the way we collect our tax. The land use charge you have to pay, the purchase tax you have to pay, and the withholding tax on rent. That's where we have another potential. All the landlords everywhere, they collect their rent and they go home without knowing that the tax law has provided that every rent you collect, you pay 10% of the rent to government. That's a law. It's not Enugu State that made it. It's a law of the land. I get it. So we have to go after every landlord to ensure that they remit their withholding tax to government.
Namdi, I don't think you had answered the key question that's actually glaring on the screen. Why pay tax? What does each taxpayer's investments mean for the budget of disruptive economic growth? If you can do that in 1 minute.
Yeah, why you must pay tax is because it is your own contribution towards this development of your state. When you pay tax, you have contributed towards you can beat your chest and say, I'm part of the development of Enugu State. I contributed towards building this road. I contributed towards building this flyover. I contributed to water flowing in Enugu. It happened when I was paying my tax.
So as a tax-paying person in Enugu State, I can come down from traffic and shout at the guys doing the road that they're not working fast enough.
You can shout on them.
My tax clearances, my money is there.
You can even tell anybody parking, but get out of this road. It's my road. I built it. I contributed my money towards that.
I'm going to.
So because of that now.
No, even now I'm going to even go around to anybody.
Because you already have your
anybody does not. No, I'm going to even make my tax clearance. I'm going to print on a T-shirt. And I'm going to be, nobody can look me in the eye again.
No, where we are going is that very soon, if you don't have tax clearance certificate, there are a lot of things you cannot do in this state. Your child cannot enter even a nursery school. Nursery school, your child cannot enter if you don't show your tax clearance certificate. So you need to be part of the system. You can't just be in the system and you believe you cannot contribute anything and you want to enjoy everything. It doesn't happen anywhere. There's no free food anywhere, even in Freetown.
On that note.
Thank you so much for being here, sir. I know this conversation will continue. And of course, we'll be monitoring the effects, whether we might have to scale back or scale up, we don't know. But, a society where tax keeps getting scaled up means a society where money is booming and the economy is growing, of course, which is what we hope for. And of course, I would also like to discuss other things with regards to encouraging businesses to come via maybe cutting capital gains tax and things like that. But we'll have to do that another day. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.